It is time for the 75,000 mile update on Martie, my 2018 Mazda CX-5 Grand Touring, and it's a bit of a bittersweet one. You see, this is actually going to be my final update on this car. It's been my daily driver for about 2.5 years now, and I think we're right at the sweet spot where it still holds a lot of value. The CX-5 is built in Japan, and it's a very desirable model, so it holds its value very well, which is a good thing. So I'm going to get a nice trade-in offer for it, and it's just at the point where I could possibly see some problems down the line. 75,000 miles is kind of a good sweet spot. You definitely don't want to get to 100. That's going to drop the value down a lot and could be more potential issues. So I think this is the right time to do it. Sorry, Martie. So here's what we're going to do. I will walk around the outside. I'll go over some of the wear and tear, other issues there. We'll do the same on the inside. I'll do one final test drive, and then at the very end, depending what happens today, I'll give you a cost breakdown of everything I've had done to the car, and it'll either be from inside or at another location if I get a new ride. But first, make sure you subscribe and follow the channel. I do all kinds of car reviews. I have full updates on this car from the time I bought it, and multiple intervals and lots of fixes and other things if you have a CX-5 yourself. So follow Petro Electric. Let's get to it. So starting outside, I still think it's a very good looking car, probably the best in its class. This is 8 model years old now, and you could barely tell the difference between this and a brand new 2026. Now, Mazda is working on the new CX-5, but it's taking forever. But hopefully that's a good sign that they want to make it right. And I would assume that the new one is finally going to have a hybrid powertrain. At least that is the rumor. So walking around the car, some things I've noticed along the time here is normal wear and tear stuff. I mentioned it before. The biggest issue with this is the paint. Now, sorry, it is pretty dirty. I parked under a tree and it rained just enough to make it look terrible. So depending on what you're seeing on the camera, it probably looks worse than it actually is. But this thing, you just look at it and it scratches. Now, I didn't put like ceramic coating or the PPF or anything like that on it because it was just a daily driver and really not a level of a car where I think that is needed. But just be aware that if you have a Mazda or you're in the market to get one, that the paint is very, very thin. And I noticed a couple like scuffs here and stuff. I live in Los Angeles. I'm in parking lots all day. I think someone actually hit me here, which is inevitable, but this would probably buff out. And I know I mentioned this last time, this little piece of piano black window trim was coming a little bit loose, I noticed last time, and it's still there, and obviously I'm not gonna touch it to make it any worse. Very minor stuff there. Inside, I think this was done, I bought this car slightly used. It's like the anti-key scratch things or where your hand goes, so there's definitely noticeable scratches on those. I'm not sure if there's a way to fix that. If anybody knows, please let me know in the comments. The wheels, I think, still look really good. These are the pizza wheels. A lot of people seem to love these. These are 19-inch rims. And I did finally, like 2 months ago, curb them, and it drove me crazy. In fact, I was actually looking to replace the entire wheel, which, fun fact, you can find these wheels for like $200. So I almost did it. I decided against it. It took me a few days to get over it. And while we're here, I should mention the tires. Now, I paid up for Pirelli Scorpions because I figured these were better tires. I honestly was not impressed with these tires at all. As you can see, they are very bald, which is another reason to trade it in. I was gonna go with Michelin Cross Climate 2s for the next set of tires, but that was $1,300. So I was like, let me spare me some costs. I'll ride on these till the end. And the dealer that I'm trading into is well aware that it needs new tires, and they seem to be okay with it. So overall, I would not suggest the Pirelli Scorpions if you're looking for tires. These made it about 35,000 miles and were pretty disappointing tires, especially in the rain. They slid all over the place. And lastly, I did mention this before, these weird scratches that someone fixed with nail polish. I didn't notice it when I bought the car because I stupidly bought the car during like a week-long rainstorm where it was raining constantly, and I didn't notice it. At least it was on the passenger side, so I didn't see it all the time getting in my car, but that was one thing that kind of bothered me, and someone did sideswipe it, and over here too. someone was not very good or pulled into a tight parking spot quite often. Other than that, no issues with the car. Functionally, everything has been working great. I should probably mention the black plastic trim all around it too. It is pretty sun faded. Now I know there's products that can fix that, and it's on me too. I was pretty neglectful with the paint protection and being on top of that stuff, as it was just my daily driver that I'm using for work all the time. For the inside, let's work back to front. This one does have the power tailgate, which still works great. And really nothing to see here, just normal stuff. I did purchase this immediately when I bought the car. I'll put a link down in the info if you want to buy one for yourself. It's been such a great thing to have. You see, like a week ago, I bought one of those rotisserie chickens at the grocery store and it spilled everywhere. So this was like full of chicken juice. And thankfully I was able to just go home and rinse it off with water. Can you imagine if that would have soaked in my carpet? The car would have been disgusting. So definitely get a cargo mat if you get one of these cars. Everything else is totally fine. Nothing to really see here. No drama in the back. And same thing in the backseat. I rarely have anybody back here. And like I said, this is just used for work. So sometimes I'll pile some stuff in here, but that's about it. And I had a few things in the back pockets, maybe stretch out just a little bit. Other than that, it's basically perfection. This one was equipped with the rear seat heat, and as far as I know, it works. And as far as I know, it's never even been used in this car. Little center thing with chargers, that should all be fine because, like I said, it never gets used. And the leather is actual real leather, and back here, since no one's really sat in it, it looks like brand new still. Along with the door panels, also look just as good. In the front is where you start to see some of the wear because like 99% of the time it is just me in this car. And I get in and out of my car like 10 to 20 times a day. So the seat is probably a little bit more worn out than most people would be if they're taking longer trips and just in the car a couple times a day. So the side bolstering, it still looks good. I mean, there's no rips or anything. And I have conditioned it a couple times. I probably should have did it more often. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the seat material and it's kept its grain pretty good. But when you look at the passenger seat, you can tell that that one basically looks brand new. A little side-by-side comparison here. And the door panel on the passenger side, since there's pretty much not any passengers in here very often, looks brand new. And my side is a little bit more worn out. You can see I'm one of those types that likes to drive with their arm up like that and have the window down, so all the dirt from outside probably comes in. And then your skin starts to wear the grain off a little bit. But overall, it's held up very nice, I would say. Same thing down here. And the steering wheel is real leather on this model. And it is starting to wear up on the top. It's not to the point where it bothers your hand, but I think pretty soon it'll get to there where that top grain has worn off on the wheel. No surprises there, pretty much typical wear and tear, nothing that I wouldn't expect from any other car as well. In the center, everything's held up really good, a little bit more wear from my arm on there, but everything else has been just fine. You got your USB outlets in there and cup holders. I did mention this last time that this was starting to peel, the automatic parking brake button. As you can see, I've just been really careful not to hit it. I actually looked up replacing that part thinking you could just buy the button. Well, you got to buy like this whole center thing and pretty much tear apart the entire center console. It looked insane to do that for just this little button, so I decided to live with it. Everything else has wore very nicely, and I do suggest getting this phone holder. This is specifically for the CX-5. It clips right in between your vent there, and then you have your hazard lights behind it. I will put a link in the description to get that as well, because that thing has been very handy. This is actually the second one, I think, but in 2.5 years, I've only had one break. So I think it's pretty good for like a $10 item. The screen in the middle, very small by today's standards. In 2021, they did upgrade this to a larger screen. I'm fine with that. I'm totally cool with that. It's been fine. It does have its moments where it likes to reset or it'll get a little slow. The CarPlay is what I use for everything, and that has worked great. It is plug-in only on this. Some people wondered how I got CarPlay on a 2018. I think this was one built at the end of the model year. So I think like midway through the model year, they did actually put CarPlay in the 2018 models, because I know a lot of people with 2018s were frustrated that they don't have CarPlay, and the Mazda dealers will install CarPlay if you don't have it as like a dealer installation for like $500. Well worth it for me because I use it every single day. Some people might not find the value in that and just stick with the standard system. Speaking of that, I'm going to shut the car off for a second here because I wonder if you can see this on camera. Now, I took it to one of those full service car washes. I'm not sure if you can really see it, but there's a little like anti-glare shield on the screen from the manufacturer, and basically any cleaner you put on this, it's gonna mess that up. So there, I think you could see it a little bit. You see, when you look at it at the right angle, there's all these like spots all over it. So the guys at the car wash rubbed it with their rag full of chemicals and it messed that up. So I found out you can actually just keep scrubbing it off with like rubbing alcohol, and it'll take that whole glare off and it'll look fine. I don't really notice it anymore. I was really frustrated when I first saw it and there was like nothing I could do, but then I found out there is a fix. And if you want that glare back, you can actually get one of those like peel and stick things like a lot of people use for their phones. So not a super big issue, but just be aware that if you're taking it to a car wash or you're washing it yourself, be really careful with the chemicals that you put on this screen, because that could happen to you. As far as the digital cluster, nothing to report here. Everything works as it should. The only warning light you see there is the seatbelt light, because I'm sitting with my seatbelt off. And the left one and the center one are actually standard gauges. The only digital on the left side here is your shift mode, which if you go into manual, you can actually see it going between each gear like that. And on the right is all digital, so everything works as it should. You can go through the menus, see things like that. I've averaged about 23 miles per gallon, which seems a lot less than most of you other people out there, but I probably drive a little bit more aggressively, and I'm pretty much exclusively all on city streets. Very little freeway driving for this. If I do go on a road trip, I usually rent other cars, as you've seen on my channel. So Marty has actually never left California as far as I know. He needs to get out more. Maybe the new owner will make that happen. So let's take Marty for one final spin around the block, and I'm gonna make it quick because you're gonna see there's no drama here too. If you're sensing a theme, it's that this has been a really great car. So if you're looking into a Mazda CX-5, I highly recommend it. I think one thing that sets this apart from a lot of other small SUVs in this segment is the CX-5 is actually built in Japan. Now, not to knock other countries like America or Mexico, where a lot of its competitors are built, but the Japanese just have a higher standard and they make things better. I don't know how to explain it. It's more pride in their work, I think, because there's not a squeak or a rattle inside this car anywhere. And I am on rough, messed up LA roads all day, every day. So you would think that I would start to be hearing things, but I really don't. In fact, if you put me in this car when I first bought it at 20 some thousand miles and now it's 70 some thousand miles, I think there's zero difference in the driving dynamics of this car. And I haven't had to put a ton of money to keep it that way. As you're gonna see in a minute, really nothing beyond general maintenance. Now, I had a little scare with the shifter recently. I just made a video on that, and it actually sparked me to the point where I was like, maybe it is time to consider a trade-in. It turned out to be just a computer thing, and I was able to fix it very easily, and a lot of other people have had that problem. So if your Mazda is shifting harder and it's got the SkyActiv technology like this CX-5 does, look out for that video. I'll put it up in the corner here. It's just a simple little up, down, left, right, A, B, start video game type trick that you have to do to your car. And after I did it, it's shifting like brand new again. So I was a little concerned, but totally relieved that it drives like brand new again. No mechanical issues. So I think I'm gonna go over all of that. It could be from Marty if I can't get a deal done today, but most likely it'll be from another location. I'll give you a total cost breakdown of what it's cost to own this CX-5 up to 75,000 miles. Well, the deed is done. Marty is off to a new home and I got a new ride. And here's a little sneak peek. You can probably figure out what it is. I will reveal soon in a future video review. But let's finish off Marty's final numbers for 75,000 miles. I'm going to break this down exactly like I did in the 50,000 mile breakout. So just to recap on that, at 50,000 miles, we had a total of 6 cents per mile in maintenance and 12 cents per mile in gas. So that came out to 18 cents per mile. Pretty good deal. Let's see how it stacks up with another 25,000 miles here at 75,000. Basics. Oil changes. Last time I charged $100 per oil change. I'm going to bump that up to $120 because inflation and everything. I was actually paying like $130. I think I was paying too much, but we're going to call it $120. So I did it every 5,000 miles with full synthetic oil, which I recommend that you do as well. So 5 times 120, that's another $600 just in oil changes. And at 50,000 miles, I had the front brake pads replaced and the rotors. This time I had to get the rears done on a service or two later, which makes sense. The rears fade a little bit slower than the fronts, but they were due for replacement. So that was about $550. And then I added another $250 in small items, just because I did this last time too. You know, like wipers, bulbs, although I don't think I replaced any bulbs, but definitely air filters. I did those all myself, and you can too. I got videos how to replace the air filters, super easy, never pay to have those done. So that includes the cabin air filter, the engine air filter, and just regular cleaning products, you know, things like that. Let's call it $250. And I'm going to add this in, even though I didn't do it. If I had held on to the car, you know, even just a little bit longer, I definitely would have replaced the tires, as I noted before. So I was looking at getting Michelins, which are, you know, kind of a top end tire, and that was about $1,200. You could go as low as like $800 and still get some decent tires. So let's break it in the middle. Let's call it $1,000 more for tires. So that gives you a total maintenance cost of $2,400. If we divide that by 25,000 miles, that gives us a cost of 9.6 cents in maintenance costs per mile. We'll call it 10 cents. So we went up from 6 the first time to 10 cents now. Still very reasonable. And as far as gas, the miles per gallon is still the same as before, about 25. And I use the average cost in the US for gas, which is much lower than I pay here in California. But that was $3.03. So we're going to call it $3 a gallon. So just like last time, another 12 cents per mile in gas. So I had 10 cents per mile in maintenance, 12 cents per mile in gas. That gives you a total of 22 cents. So we did go up because last time we were only at 18. But the good news is, if you use your car for business like I do, the federal tax rate that you get for mileage has gone up for 2025. It is now 70 cents per gallon. So basic costs, maintenance, and gas, you're going to pay 22 cents a mile for your CX-5. And the federal rate would be 70. That gives you plenty of margin for insurance and all the other things. So I think that the CX-5 is still a very, very good bargain, and it's fun to drive. So do yourself a favor, look for a CX-5. I think gently used, you're going to do very well, and it's just a great car overall. I highly recommend it, so much so that, as I mentioned at the beginning of this final stage, I got another one. I'm going to give you a review of my newly updated CX-5 in a future video. But until then, please share your experiences with your CX-5. I hope they were just as positive as mine were down in the comments below. I'll see you on the next video.